Okay, abusia yɛbɛma kɔ aba sonko so ɛde Ghana politics avenue so. Abusia Kevin Taylor de nsɛm bi aba abɛto dwa na abusia yɛbisa sɛ Ken Ofori Atta na ere no yɛ deport na ana. Ken Ofori Atta ɛkɔ abrochiri no ɔne na ere no ɛna ɛkɔɔyɛ. And emre bi Kevin Taylor ebe drop Ken Ofori Atta ɔne na ere na ɛkyɛ sɛ ɔmo wɔ street so a kyɛ sɛ ɔ drop ɔne Ken na ere ne Ken Ofori Atta picture a ɛkyɛ sɛ ɔmo wɔ street so a ɔmo ɛni agye a ɔmo di nkɔmɔ. But Kevin Taylor a drop information bi a ɔkyerɛ sɛ Ken Ofori Atta na ere no yɛ di kan ama na ba Ghana nti ebisa sɛ Ken Ofori Atta ɔne na ere ne kɔɔyɛ no yɛ di kan abɔ na ere na ba Ghana because first crime a Ken Ofori Atta ɔkɔɔ US a ɛkyɛ sɛ odwane kɔhyɛ hɔ no ɛkyɛ sɛ nsɛm bebree bi ɛbaeɛ a Ken Ofori Atta na allegations bi crimes bi a na yɛ totobɔ no involved with na ere no. Nti abusia yɛbisa sɛ Ken Ofori Atta yɛabɔ na ere na ba. Kevin Taylor ɛde ho nsɛm aba abɛto dwa. Mom yɛnkɔ na yɛnkɔ nkɔtie nsɛm a ɛkɔɔyɛ. Unsubscribe ya. Subscribe, like na share ma afoforɔ nso ɛnsa ntumi ɛnka bi. Aha Ghana Politics Avenue so. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so that any update be ever dropping on one so onsa ebitumi aka. Medamase.
As we speak, lower fuel prices not enough for fare reduction yet. Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Yes, say GPRTU for say, even though petrol Akuffo no omo de inform ho. And I advise the government and I advise investors. This is the time the government needs to veer into their private, their public transportation. I think say I will say abino estate investing in buses, making sure that we have enough public transportation in Ghana. I think it's about time. Because your Akuffo of Mainimua, upon all that is happening, still politics, still pettiness, still the government should take the initiative. If the government is going to engage 5 people who have money to collaborate with the government or partner the government to invest in public transport more, I think this nonsense will stop. We cannot have a small association that determines prices, even when determines fares, even when fuel prices come down. No, we cannot have. This country is too big to have just GPRTU holding the country at ransom and determining, say, price back of man and from. No. So we need to change our ways now. And because by this time, GPRTU one of the unrecognized associations in Ghana. Because we knew you may be on here. So individuals say are buying any investors about together said they are going to bring more buses, partnering with the government, and the government at the end of the day Sebio or taking a little bit of the cost and making public or government transportation easier. And as I'm some GPRT Association of Drivers, they can good dada. Because why did they even have the power? Kero for Atta bete Akroma. Sana yire dinkan o Ghana. Ena ne ba no so dinkan o Ghana. Na yire o Ghana o. Na yire dinkan. Me sure say waba because odwin so be wu o. Eyes for themselves so. They know you say to even say petrol walk off from so yente so. What the heck is GPRTU? Bas papa ben pa and a GPRTU dey see Ghana e kwan so a save Ghana for lives. GPRTU yet say can they point to their own buses that are helping this nation? No, they don't even have buses. Inventory there were 10,000 buses. They run in the name of GPRTU. They are just registering people's cars and say we are taking money from you. That's what they are doing. GPRTU is extorting from drivers. GPRTU. Into registration. They don't do anything. It's about time the government engaged. So government person be engaged the private sector. The government should invest in public transport. If the government can build good roads, then the government can invest in good vehicles to make sure, say, access to buses in Ghana. If we are able to get a lot of access to government buses, prices not ever decent enough. You will see people coming out with better ideas. GPRTU is a cake. They have left it's a useless association. A dear partner, we are driving near Oshemia, GPRTU pa a yama driver for. A dear partner, oh, ya tise BBSC, inti, ya pese ya bekasa, ngwasya samsa, appetition for nkwa. And I think it's about time government started getting bold in taking some decisions. Yeah, we, even the people at the point, might not understand or might push back a little bit, but at the end of the day, it will benefit us. Because Abani decided, say, it wants to invest in public transport. Every region, Abani said, I am going to make sure I get 5,000 buses for every region. 5,000 buses. Half of those buses are all the EV buses. Government brings in the buses. They get the people who want to run it. They sign agreements with them about maintenance and all these things. Those people are supposed to make sure the buses are in good condition. If the government does not want to take the burden of maintaining and doing that, the government can bring the buses in and qualified companies can come in for the buses. And then what happens is that the revenue, either the government gets 70%, those investors get 30%. And kariketi buses, buses, and can the nipa point juma 6, I'll be 6:30. Because then there will be point juma 6, 5:30. No, I could do 10. All because I was so cost line. GPIT, because I'm paying you one more petition. Be say, we are not supposed to allow some associations to monopolize our transportation. No. You trust our point, whereby a mere association monopolizes or determines fares of cars, even though petrol prices were formed. No, we have gotten to that point where a government should be able to operationalize or operate the transportation system to the benefit of the people. It's a buying for buses, Nembra. If government doesn't want to take that burden, because we have seen what has happened to Metro Mass, whereby when we hand it over to a government, the monitoring, the supervision, it is not as effective. Now, what we can do is bring the buses in, get investors or people who are willing to operate it. Now, we tell them this is government bus. Even though your company is going to run this bus, 30% of the proceeds comes to you, 70% comes to the government. Maintenance, maybe you split with the government, or if you want to do the maintenance, you will take 35% of the revenue. If you can't do it, walk. This is not a time where people are supposed to make so much money out of government. This is the time government has to be judicious in sharing the resource. So I think if the government decides to go to Asia and speak to some of these companies, they will be willing to give us 20,000 buses, 50,000 buses to make sure every single part of this nation, the municipal assemblies can run these buses, add it to their internally generated funds, and then at the end of the day, they are audited for us to know how much we are making from these buses. So we can break it down into small pieces. We can start the bus transportation from municipal. Government gives municipal assemblies the buses. Government makes sure the municipal have the maintenance part of it. Now, what happens is if somebody wants to run those buses, they will deal with the municipal assembly. So every municipality, they know their buses they are running. At the end of the year, the internal auditors will do, and the auditor general himself will audit them. We will know if the buses are deteriorating. We know who to hold accountable. That is what we do. We need to break governance down into small bits. When we do it like that, we can decentralize governance. We don't have to have GPRT who tell me, say, on petrol. So now a government worker, civil servant, teacher ni, police ni, ako jina bank, ashe bank to 5 p.m. or pe car keke Akuffo a 30 minutes drive. Now we jina and aswa another 4 hours. How are you going to kill corruption? How are you going to help the people? The transport minister needs to be proactive. And this GPRTU nonsense thing, we need to start getting rid of them. Almost slow your transportation system down. Guys, let's get proactive. Let's start thinking. Let's start breaking governance down into small bits. We have made governance too huge. And it's not any breno. We have made governance too big. Let us simplify governance. Akroma, your county, your state, your federal. Let us try and break governance down. Let us make it easy. And this nonsense will never happen. Abroche if I'm going to say there is a transportation group be no. You cannot. Inti senka yo bibi sa anka GPRT you entum ba bontin beka say yati petrol so what's your problem with petrol yati so ada yatum? What's your job? GPRT for majuma nkasa pa ne den. GPRT for inti police ni akotena bank 5 hours. Police ni akotena bank 5 hours. Ope car free circle ako oyarefa. Na wako jina ho 4 hours unim de odi uniform no be. Do you know what he's going to use his uniform for? Or the uniform no be intimidate in for any the opportunity to extort them or to get access to cars to go home. Do you know the number of police officers in Ghana? Do you know the number of custom officers in Ghana? Do you know the number of uniform officers in Ghana? So it trickles. Make life easy for the people. And then also a buying can collaborate with individuals in the country. Now, what say a constituency, and I say a municipality biano. Say you decide to have a municipality bia 20 buses, government buses. Now we make sure the municipal chief executive and his team, it is your responsibility. These buses, they'll be subsidized. Say total for just 7 cities are almost 3 cities. But make sure that the maintenance of the bus is on point. Internal audit needs to happen, and then Auditor General's department itself needs to audit them. Now, when we do that, the same people can use the buses to generate internal funds. That internal funds, about 30% should go into the maintenance of the buses. That is how you run a nation. Into a municipality, bia 50 buses. Because petrol bafoma government worker no. He's not worried. Ekosura, he's not worried because the government has been able to subsidize it to a point whereby onimse osoria no pankwandia obenya aban bus afwa kwedwuma. The students now what GSS himself of public bus aban bus na ya engine ska. It makes everything easy. And people are spending so much money. Yetuma akora ketekete 40 Ghana so onko school. 30 Ghana budget lorry fare. The government can bring in more buses, and your fans from class 1, class 2, all the way to class 6 or GSS 1. You can take public bus. So it makes things easy, and this is not complicated because the buses are working to make money, and a buying has to have percentages. Percentage where IGF percentage where it needs to go to federal. Send a between the boa sustaining petrona yedema mo to do this job. No, so as it can be the better. That's all. That's all. The people want to be easy. They want to have easy life. Create it for them. Now, interest rates and the Bank of Ghana Governor Kasa. And interest rate set to decline further as Ghana reference rate for January drops to 15.68. Unim interest rate what you say? Wow, shame was swami. So okobo anako bank koji loan, anako loan obebia. Time ana Bawumia also ye economist. Any Akuffo was no. Na ehun insi hono eye oha nchichemu eduasa baako to eduasa mienu 32%. Time ana Bawumia any Akuffo MPP wo power no na ukoji loan or banker na eye insimu ewo ho oje 100 Ghana insimu na ewo ho no na eye ohanchichemu eduasa mienu na ye 32%. In less than a year John Mahama etumi atesa insimu na ewo eye den besia no ho into wako eye bank bi akoje besia se odukofa nyoma ewo Dubai odukofa nyoma o Togo odukofa ntoma and Akuffo Addo no na ubetua oha mu nchichemu eduasa echire pomienu ansana wonsa aka eyedien loan no ansana wotumetua loan no de tare hono no and NDC are buying in less than a year omotwemu mienu and the okobo besia o banka eye oha enchiche eye oha nchichemu edionum echire po insiane wotwe 15.8% watemu mienu and Bank of Ghana governor say ebesa kra kofom ebetube dumbre bi na okoji loan a eye insihu e wo ho no ebebe eye de oha nchichemu dupe 10%. That is governance. Enti abasa na dipa bebre di dwuma omumboka because the ema edwadifo boka no eye besia no ehun sihu eye the interest on the loans ene na ma eye de edwadifo eboka because edwadini ekoje 100,000 Ghana na also betua 30,000 Ghana every month sa odwadini no bibi kitu bi sipe ebekọ ede ni dwetrem enti na eka no emene no ende sa eye insihu no abai we ba so no watinsihu ne so ma na ba fom. Meaning say, science munanka ebeba abewura eye udwetremu eye capital mu no science mu no yateso we na oban into people say aban we by dey na waye sa dey we e save millions of businesses anka ndwuma bebre wo Ghana ende kejetia kotokraba asafo kofodua emba omugumalata ene ede Accra market anka omunyine dwuma dodo na dwuma egu this alone ende nipa bi da omutumi da. If you say, eye insihu e wo mo besia no ya twam mienu amana ba fom when you friend o man chichire you are helping the ordinary Ghanaian. When you friend helping the ordinary Ghanaian, your policies and your decisions enti ubusebio say aban we ba enye hwe enso na sebio ni nua be ma bia okokwan so no and the nua be ma ni BP na ba form if you say bank na etwe no and the bank na friend ka chen say sia de insi ho no Bank of Ghana teso nti yen sanka ne biem na yen teso ama ne dwuma no because anka wontumi ante sansi ho no so a anka ende nyoma na okofa no e Japan ba abosukan no anka egu. And when your friend say oh chichire mine, if you don't underestimate this, Papa we or your Bank of Ghana governor, or boy Juma, he's not joking. So we're checking the records for the past 1 year. Interest rate, inflation, or checking a year, nyoma bia audio gugwa kwemu. Near Akroma and under MPP, under Bawumia, under Addison, Bank of Ghana board ka 60 billion. Yebusa says kind of fine. Obiantuma maya answer be seen there. 60 billion. Na omucha sika over 60 billion gum. Na sebio usum abrewa baby okoto de fa ho ben. De na Ghana fo nyina pay free MPP won say me nya economist. Me ni akwansema nya economist. Akosi aboate nya economist. Mo na mo se mo ye aban mu nipa, mo ye government, mo ye politicians. Send a be abema me hu atome no ene na hia me because me tua me to. Na me tua me to in fear watch. Na me ye obi a me kofa nyoma o Japan kofa engines. Na eba edien loan a me koje no bank insimu no kwa na ekosra na edie nyansa pa na wo a obetum di akekere man no. I don't care how they do it. I don't care how the governor drops the interest rate. As far as it is not destroying Nkofo Juma, amount for you to that is what I care about. Because omo ene ka so metuma ye juma no. We when a catcher say ye mo mutumi a omo the dollar be free 17.80 to 10. And there oma ye eno ne hia me. Omo catcher say ye di juma ne ma omo a omo betumi the gold no omo de emrafo from beba e betumi aboa magana esika se megina ne na so omo ye I don't care. So what problem with it? That is your problem. My problem is I gave them an assignment and are they delivering? They are. That's all. I'll keep them in power until they start not to deliver on the assignment. That's when I start to question their competence. Into me maujuma 8 years. Now say when to men deliver. Masa, media results na meshe. It is not about your titles. It's not about Bibiako school. It's not about who you are affiliated to or with. What I care about is give me my results. And these people are giving us the results. And let's not see this as a joke. On mine na ye chichire no, amanfo ho hiha omo pa. And ye cause say ani aso ye boa. Sa ban ne de nhihye bi ba. Oh munim bibi. Moma yemfa kakrambra ebia eye etwo we mbra na entumi meboa wo ha. Se ye hu sa ban ne ye adwuma ye tuato na emfa ye ho. Ekrobia ni wiase ye geto chen America ni UK. Na so abete se obi gina street kwemu demonstration side na wotu ato because ni nsuo ba ne kan ye gina so ne kwan ye edwuma onye bi ye oye dwadini a ne sika enhye ye. That is what the people need. ekura yɛgye ɛtoɔ wɔ mu kɛseɛ America ɛne UK ɛne nkura kɛseɛ no nkura yɛgye tax akɛseɛ paa no ɔmo nyɛ demonstration busa ho sɛ adentra ɛna de bia ɔba America ɔmo nyɛ demonstration about their lights, their roads, their it is because ɔmo gye toɔ na so ɔmo di kura mfa obi aho because ɔmo bɔ edwuma no, and that is what we need to learn.
Okay, abusua we ne ensema ekọ so e political highway so Kevin Taylor na yete ne nka se odisa ensem no etudwa ede amaya. Abusua, there is much interesting moment ahead. Ken Ofori Atta ni case no unsubscribe ya. Subscribe, like and share ma afofro so ensa into me and Kevin. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so that any updates be ever drop, also once a bit to me aka. Madam Ase.